Okay, so good afternoon. Yes, FESTAC was more than 45 years ago, and by next year it will be 50 years. That was FESTAC Nigeria, first FESTAC 77. Before then, 11 years before, we had FESTAC 1966, hosted by the country called Senegal. And then there was the author named President Leopold Senghor. He was the first FESTAC, host. Then he was General then, Olusegun Obasanjo, hosted the second Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, and that was in 1977. Thereafter, it was said, I don't know should I call it a dead end, dead air, stalemate, whatever it was. It took about 45 years until one young man woke up, became bold. He was able to take the bull by the horn. So we looked at it, and people said, are you sure you can do this? Well, the rest is history, because it's here in the studio with me. And I have a lot of people on Google Link all over the world. Thank you, guys. You can see names that I will start to identify later. And by the way, I may also give you a chance to speak whenever you feel like it, but just signify on Google Meet by raising your hand. And for those of you who are going to make a phone call, well, Obed will eventually give you the phone number. And then if you want to send messages by WhatsApp, feel free to do that, because the way we look at this whole thing, Nigeria has always been on the map of the world by either playing music, making films, or indeed hosting the Black and African world. So, Engineer Yinka Abioye, you're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
From boardroom to FESTAC Africa. Can you just take us a little bit back in time and now? Please, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Mr. Soni. It's a pleasure to be with you at Inspiration 92.3 FM. I would say Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers out there. We have to give respect where it's due.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here. I don't know how far you want us to start, but I think you have started the story in what happened, in how the whole concept of FESTAC even came by. Of course, early 50s, the colonial masters were thinking about maybe it's time for these people on this continent to start running their own show. Parents at that time, we've been colonized, and I don't even like to talk about colonization from an angle of...
Well, it's part of our history, unfortunately.
Well, not even from an angle of stealing of minerals.
Okay.
I want to talk right from the angle of the mental colonization. And I think back then the idea was we've been so drained that the first thing to do was to use art and culture as a platform to bring us together. What happened in the late 1885, 1886, whatever that time was?
1884.
1884, when the boys got in the room, about 15, 17 of them, and divided a piece of land this big. Unfortunately for us, the division was just, I like this one, you like that one, I like that one. We trade, and we keep dividing people without a care for the tribes and the people within that geography. So if you wonder why we have a lot of infighting today, those are some of the problems, because majority of those lines drawn to separate our countries today are drawn right in the middle of the tribes. As you go around globally, you will find that there's that all over the world, all over Africa. And worse yet, then you have the French, you have the English, you have the German, you have the Dutch, you have the Portuguese, and you have the little Spanish. So when you throw all those things into the division in the tribal language, then we have even further division. So the task of all of us coming together is humongous, but we have to do it because it's ours to be done. So our fathers and mothers got together and said, let's start by doing an art and cultural festival. Use that as a platform for all of us to at least start coming back together, knowing that that guy that looks like that on that side is actually your brother or your sister. And that was the birth of FESTAC in 1966, gracefully held by
Senegal.
His Excellency Leopold Sedar Senghor.
Yeah.
And the idea was, after that first one, other countries start hosting, and the project start moving around, because the more we move around, the more we get to understand and know one another better. Now, Nigeria was to be next. We unfortunately had our unfortunate civil war in 1967. There are some people say 3 years, some people say 4 years. To me, because I was alive during civil war in Nigeria, wars never end when people say they have ended. Because they have destroyed so many things. Like even if we say the 3 or 4 years of 67 destruction, even that is still in today. Yeah. 60 years later, you can still see it in our interaction within the country. Anyway, the war happened and Nigeria was not able to host it. Initially planned for 1975, but eventually happened in 1977. Okay. 77 was a beautiful year. 77 was all thanks to Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, CFR today, for being committed. And I think also too, the world needs to thank him a little bit more. Because for a person to be conscious in 1977, to say that, because when you lead, it's difficult to lead. And when you say, I want to do something, not everybody will come along with you. But something of that magnitude, I mean, yeah, so Baba was, that was 50 years ago. Baba was also young back in those days. So at its age he was back then, to say, this is needed. He must have actually convinced a lot of people, and some people by now have even gone along with him, but he said, you know what, we have to spend this money because we need to emancipate the black race. And I think,
thank you for using that word,
emancipation. Yeah. And I think, like you said a few days ago, when we were talking about I'm Black and Proud in the late 60s, early 70s.
James Brown.
I'm even Black and Proud in 1977. You have to look at me when I was back there. I had my big fro, I had my big bell bottom pants, I had my stiletto shoes with the gold medal in front of it. So I mean, I was jamming back in the 70s, right? But the festival was beyond that. It was self-awareness, self-assurance. It was a time where we had over 16,000 participants on stage for 1 month in Nigeria.
Oh.
It was the birth of FESTAC Village, a place built to host the people that came. It was people came from all over 60-something countries into Nigeria at a time when Africa had less than 50 countries, which meant people came from a lot of other countries and continents outside of Africa. More than anything else, we had probably more than 50, 70,000 people in the country as visitors. But overall, the festival had over 100,000 people in a 1 month celebration. The beauty about 1977 is that when you talk to anyone that was part of 77, once you say FESTAC, no matter what country in the world they come from, not only do they remember, if they have anything to remember, their reaction, their face will change. The goosebumps will come there.
Nostalgia.
The pupils will dilate because it meant something to them. And so that is a power for all of us as Pan-Africans that we could just not allow to die. And that was the whole idea behind not letting that 1977 power die. And those led to the incarnation or renaissance of 1977.
So, when did it now strike you to take the bull by the horn as you did to start to host FESTAC? Because it was FESTAC 77.
77.
Yeah, but you now said FESTAC Africa.
Yes. Well, you have to have a break to show what it is and what you've tried to do. So, yes, what happened, yeah, FESTAC 1977, it's been burning inside me personally forever to say, what could we do to bring the continent and our people together globally? So, what did we do? So, what did we do? We sat back and started thinking about, okay, how do we renaissance FESTAC? How do we bring it back? And there was a lot of fear on, oh wow, 1977 was so big. How could you bring something else in to replace 77? So
that was the big one.
That's the big one.
The challenge.
So the boldness actually came from 2020 when COVID struck. We sat back and we said, you know what? To me, COVID woke up a lot of things in me. Yeah, I was in technical field. I was this, I was that, but the power of the African, we were not sure of ourselves because we've been. I hate to use the word. We've been beaten so much that we started doubting ourselves. So
sorry, there was a message that just came from Google Meet from Boyega Adilaja that the audio is not clean and it's not hearing very well. Boyega, can you hear now? Can you all hear those on Google Meet? Because I'm going to give you all a chance to speak later on.
It's breaking.
It's
the
breaking.
Audio is seriously breaking. It's not.
Okay, that depends on your
at all.
That's your that's your internet situation. I'm very sure of that. But anyone who is not listening or hearing it, please take note. Let me know. Then we'll see what we can do. The engineers are standing by there just to make sure of that. Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. So 2020 happened. Actually, funny enough, I was in Wuhan in 2019, fourth quarter, and then COVID hit, and then all of us spent our 2020 inside the building, not able to go out. When COVID happened, there was a projection that a lot of African lives will be lost. But as you all will remember, we had our African medicine, the barks of the tree, the roots of the trees, the leaves of the trees, and the protocols of what our parents had given us for years that we used. And those things actually worked, even at times when we use our protocol and the world condemned our protocol. And then we found that at the end of the day, Africa actually was not as affected as the world had expected. That gave me a boldness to say, wow, so we actually have bigger value than we actually know ourselves, that we, everything we have in our mind to do, we should be able to go forward to it. So that was where the boldness come in, to say, you know what, let's sit back and bring FESTAC back. And then the next thing was, how do you bring it back? Back in 1960s and 1977, it was more on art and culture. But the new plate of 2022, 45 years later, should actually use that art and culture to bring all of us together. But beyond that, there are other items that are pertinent to our lives that we needed to bring onto the template. So the first thing we did was we looked at what happened in 77 and said, what else could we bring on board? So we had women program in it, basically on Women's Summit. We did youth. We had the youth included in it. We looked and said, well, sometimes even the way our writers or our media project Africa sometimes could affect Africa beyond what it is. And sometimes they don't even realize that those things have impact on our credit rating. So we put in a writer's retreat, a media retreat on how to write very well. We promoted our fashion, our films, our food, our health, sports, trade and investment, tech, because today we have tech. Arts and culture, of course, is the base for everything we've done. And we went even as far as doing disability inclusion to make sure we're not leaving anybody out.
This is very serious. I mean, I can see you doling out a lot of opportunities. A struggle, 50 years later, I mean, I keep saying 50 years because next year is actually the 50th.
Yes.
So to me, I'm already looking at next year. If it is that, why did we squander or lose the essence of our opportunities? That's really the question I've always wanted to ask. I'm asking you now. What made us lose our essence?
Well, I think as a continent and as people, we need to stop wasting opportunities. 1977 was an opportunity.
It was a big one.
It was a huge opportunity.
Yes.
That as people we let go. And I say that, I mean, I'm talking Pan-African. I'm not even talking only Nigeria. I'm talking even African Union. Sorry to, I'm not throwing punches.
No, there's no need to be sorry about that.
I'm making a point. I'm making a point because you cannot move up. I mean, look today. Our children are all over the world doing very well in different fields. But we are not able to harness all those power that we have globally because we don't have regional integration. We work in silos, right? Each country have its own specialty of what they do. And there's no way, I mean, look at trade agreements. I mean, like somebody will say, you have a country of 200,000 people going to say he's going somewhere to negotiate a trade with a country of 200 million people or 300 million people. You're wasting your time. So we need to harness all those things and come in.
We need to recognize our strength.
Our strength. Come in as a front, as Africa, as a continent. And every time we go out there, let's stay with trade. Every time you go out there to do trade negotiations, it will not favor every country on the continent. Every transaction will not favor you like it favored me or somebody else. But something else will come your own way that you will have advantage over me. So
do you also
that
realize,
needs to happen.
Do you realize that even us as Africans, we tend to make things difficult for ourselves?
Correct.
How do we address that?
Well, that's what you would call, I call it the crab mentality. Okay, which means you are pulling your other brother or sister that is trying to do something positive. We have to get out of that. For the continent to move forward, we got to get out. We have to work as one, and FESTAC becomes a platform to do that. I mean, we've always talked about why is inter-Africa trade sitting at 15%, where EU is probably 67 to 70%, Asia is about 60%, North America is about 31%. We have an opportunity to use this platform because to me it's very simple. It's very simple because I've been fortunate to have been into most of the countries in Africa. Like I told you earlier, I speak a little bit of French, so I can communicate in French, even though my tenses mean my past tense, present tense may not come the right way, but you can hear me, and that's good enough. Yes. But my point is that if we don't come together under regional integration, what I mean by that is the ECOWAS come together, remove the tariffs on air travels, open the borders, open the gate. If you are regionalized anyway, why can't people just travel? So
exactly.
So you have that in West Africa, you have EAC, you have SADC, you have the North. But on top of that, we were talking about something called Africa Passport. Why are we wasting our time developing something called African Passport? Just allow my passport to go to any country.
Because as long as I can prove it as I'm Nigerian.
I mean, I can prove that I have a passport. I can show the money to pay for my hotel and my flight. Why do I need to now get... because by the time you get into doing one passport Africa, that's another 50 years.
That's needle eye mentality for
that's another 50 years. So just allow each passport, as long as it's a valid passport, and as long as I can show that I can travel, allow me to be able to move around. And that regional integration will do a lot for our people. And beyond the regional integration, then you get into travel and tourism. That will encourage travel and tourism, and that will encourage trade. That will foster coming together. We'll share technology, we'll share knowledge, and the continent would uplift as we wish.
Okay. Well, this is Soni Irabor live, and our guest, very articulate guest indeed, is Engineer Yinka Abioye. He's the chairman of FESTAC Africa, and that's a sudden wake-up call for 49 years later after FESTAC 77. So I'm happy that somebody has taken the bull by the horn. It's a big challenge to all governments of Africa. It's a big challenge to all Africans connected. So, having said that, where is the way forward? I'm going to give the people in the Google Meet chambers, and those who are going to make a phone call, and of course, those who are going to send messages or voice notes through WhatsApp. I'll give you all a chance very, very soon. We still have about 7 minutes for Yinka to give his beautiful monologue that is enlightening us on the way to go. How can we build political will from governments of Africa?
So what we did when we were thinking about bringing it back together, we approached AU ECOSOC.
Okay.
And they gratefully said yes, which was nice. And we said, okay, as an African child, you can't do anything without going to the Baba that big bed is the biggest. So we went to Chief Obasanjo and said, Baba, we want to bring this back. Baba was like, wow, are you guys smoking or drinking something? And we said, yeah, but we got to get this thing back because we understand the value of this thing. And he said, great, more power to you. I will support you wherever we can. And he has done a wonderful job in supporting. It was in Kenya with us a couple of years ago and made his heartfelt speech on what this is. So what have we done and how do we move this forward? So in 2022, we did Zanzibar. In 2023, we did Arusha, Tanzania. In 2024... That's
two islands.
One island and one on the mainland, which was a wonderful thing because we get to see the value of the island and the mainland.
Okay.
2024, we did Kisumu, Kenya, under the auspice of our Governor Anyang' Nyong'o. Anyang' Nyong'o is the father to Lupita Nyong'o.
Okay.
The Hollywood actress.
Yes.
The Hollywood actress.
Yes.
And more power to Professor Anyang' Nyong'o because it was a bold move. Actually, his own situation was even very funny. When we met him, he said, in 1977, in 66, he missed FESTAC. In 77, he wanted to come to Nigeria. Last minute, something happened.
And he couldn't come.
He couldn't come. In 2023, we had invited him to Tanzania. He sent a busload of over 30 people to come to Tanzania from Kenya.
He didn't come.
And then, funny enough, he had an urgent meeting in Nigeria in 2023.
Okay.
So he missed it again. So when we offered to go to Kisumu, Kenya in 2024, he was so excited and he did a wonderful job. It's leaders like that we need, that understand the power of culture and arts as a tool for us to come together. We did we did Ghana in last year. And 2025.
Yeah.
Because FESTAC started in 1966 in Senegal, we are going back to Senegal this year. We're in conversation with the ministry in Senegal already to do it third, fourth quarter this year. And then 2027 is when we want to come back home because we have to come back to that 50 years of 77. We've started making efforts in reaching out to some of the stakeholders.
If I may interject a bit, this is interesting because 2026 is 60 years, is it?
Correct.
For Senegal. And 2027
was 50 years of Nigeria, 1977.
Okay.
So personally, go back to what you said, the African government, we're not even asking for a whole lot of things. We're asking you, the national government, federal government of all our African countries, state governments, in some countries they use counties, and local government. Send 10, 20 of your people. Come and take a booth. Promote your food. Promote your fashion. Promote your music. Show us the minerals in your country. Use it as a template for, if I want to buy, I don't know, tungsten, whatever the mineral is. If I knew that tungsten is actually in Cameroon, then I wouldn't be going to Europe or Asia to look for the product because I know My brother
get
has
it down
it
here.
here next to me.
Right.
So we're asking all of them to come and showcase the culture, use the cultural platform to bring us together. But eventually, if we want to grow and improve intra-Africa trade, no matter what we do, we're not going to move the numbers much until we do regional integration and we do tourism and we let Africans travel, within the continent and get to be comfortable with one another, demystify, remove prejudice, remove wrong misconception of what our continent look like. And those are the only ways we're going to move up. Thank you.
Okay, we have got a lot of people on Google Meet, and I'm going to start giving you a chance. If you signify by there's an icon that shows the raise of a hand, then I'll give you a chance to speak. In the meantime, the telephone number for those calling from the studio line is 0707 218 6998. 0707 218 6998. And then we have messages on WhatsApp, and it's a very long one. Hold on, please. Let me just.
All right. This one says, good afternoon, Uncle Soni, Irabor, Mr. Obed and your guests in the studio. FESTAC Town was originally conceived after the Second World Black and African Festival of Art and Culture, FESTAC 77, as a model urban settlement, orderly streets, reliable infrastructure, planned residential zones, and a vibrant multicultural community that symbolized modern African urban aspiration. Its decline came through years of weak urban governance, uncontrolled commercial conversions of residential spaces, infrastructure neglect, population pressure, and the gradual collapse of maintenance culture, leaving what was once a carefully planned environment struggling with congestion, decay, and poor sanitation. Reviving its image requires deliberate urban renewal, strict enforcement of the original master plan, massive infrastructure rehabilitation, restoration of public utilities, regulation of land use, and sustained community-driven maintenance backed by accountable local administration, so the town can again reflect the cultural prestige and urban vision for which it was created. Wherever I find myself around the FESTAC town, the bad sight and ugly feeling of how dilapidated the town has become really fills my heart, my lungs, and pollute the spirit of the nation, of national pride in me. And this is AA from Aso Drive.
Okay.
There's another one. Sorry.
It's a long one.
Sorry, that was a pretty long one. This other one says, Uncle Soni and your guest. Good afternoon. Your guest talked about African integration. Isn't that integration obviously the reason why Gaddafi is dead? His son was killed just barely 2 weeks ago. As long as the colonial masters still have an interest in Africa, our leaders always have loopholes that these looters will continually keep looting. And African integration is the greatest fear of the West. Dot from Aja.
Nice.
Now, you said nice. Your comment on the two of them.
Yes.
Well, let me, Asorok, AA from Asorok, you never give your name. Let me advise you, please condense whatever you send. You're sending me a whole jam question paper. You do too much from now, bros. Not this. Okay, yes.
Let me give you a jump answer on that one. The problem, the first one is long. The basic message on that is that why is the facility dilapidated to what it is today? And I don't think it's only FESTAC estate that is dilapidated. I think it's just the poor way that we don't have maintenance as part of our culture on the continent.
Neglect.
That's its neglect.
Yeah.
In most countries, there's law that says you must paint your house every 4 to 5 years. So we need all those kind of things to execute and to make in place, and we need to have personal pride. And I think sometimes that also goes into play to say, I don't want my environment to look like this. I do not want my poor sanitation because I think, it's not the right thing. The second question is regional integration. there's no better way to say that. Divided we fall.
United we stand.
United we stand. Even if we lost Gaddafi, unfortunately, we lost
His son.
I mean, we've lost a lot of our
As well.
fathers and mothers over the years. It doesn't stop us from coming together as in the integration. And I think part of the problem is that when those individuals start their move, the masses don't follow them.
Yes.
So when one of them is bold enough to raise his hand and say, "I'm moving forward," I'm gonna just get really wild with you, Uncle Soni. Even look at what we are doing now with FESTAC. Do we really need to beg people that can support to support?
No.
We don't need to beg them. If some of us are actually giving up a lot of our time, our lives, our own income to make the continent better, why should we be begging you? It should be your duty. I mean, majority of the people moving money around on our continent today are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. You're not going to take the money to heaven when you're gone. So you better do it right, because your children and your grandchildren will check on you
Leave
and
something
say,
behind.
and say, what did my grandfather do when he was there?
Absolutely.
So back to the issue of Muammar Gaddafi. Yes, there's no one sitting out there that say they are coming to Africa to advise you on a better Africa, that their own interest is not their first reason for being around. And there's nothing wrong with that. They are business people. They move around to also make money. But they can make their money while we protect our environment, while we do the right thing for our people. And if God has given you a power, education, position to be somewhere, you owe it. You owe it to our people and our children and our future to do it right. So that's my own take on that.
It's a very powerful one, and the responses I want to appreciate for those of you who have, sent your views via WhatsApp. The phone numbers are free, or the number is free. It's 0707 218 6998. So if you want to call us, give us a call. And for the Google Meet, please just indicate by raising your hand, and I'll give you a chance to speak. I identified quite a lot of people. In fact, there are about 14 or 15, so feel free, but so far, so good. Question. What will be the move that will ginger interest in the African person? Okay. Engineer Yinka Abioye, I like what you're doing. Thank you very much. I'm interested. How do I take part?
How do you take part? I think the first thing you do is to be aware. So on our social media handle, FESTAC Africa on all social media handle, you can go in there and be part of what we're doing. Number two, the website, www.festacafrica.org.
Can you say that slowly?
Sorry, I speak very fast. That's one of my problems, man. www.festacafrica, no space, .org. FESTACafrica.org.
Okay.
And you could actually also email yinka@festacafrica.org or chairman@festacafrica.org. I will personally respond to you on that.
Now, do you have international members playing any role?
Oh, we have plenty of international members.
Which parts of which countries are fully involved?
So our primary office is in South Africa.
Okay.
And we have some of our partners out of Tanzania, out of Kenya. Everywhere where we've done FESTAC, we have left residuals there to make sure they can perpetuate what is being done. So we have registered in Ghana. We're all over. They have done some work in the US and in the Caribbean.
FESTAC and the Black World.
Yes.
I remember the West Indies, Tanzania, Jamaica,
yes,
Trinidad and Tobago,
yes,
Guyana,
yes,
Barbados,
yes,
Bermuda. All of these countries are mainly Africans by nature, or they are black.
They're Africans. Can I even tell you something interesting?
Right.
2 years ago, the country of Trinidad and Tobago, on their national day, sent their steel pan band
to
Kenya for FESTAC.
Fantastic.
So the noise is out there. The information is out there. We just need people to jump on board. There are people that have fund money today that are doing other things. They invest here. Please invest on a better continent.
What do you see? How do you look at the culture, the diverse culture of Africa and the black world? How do you also see the natural resources of the different parts of Africa and so on?
Our diverse culture is a strength. If you can get beyond your own ignorance and your own prejudice.
I like that.
Why
did you use the word ignorance?
Well, no, but it's important because that's really the problem as you go around the continent. Okay, let me say something that will shock you.
Yes, go ahead, please.
One of the best fish I ever had in my life was in Burkina Faso.
Fish?
Yes.
And it's a landlocked area.
Thank you. And that's why I said that. Because it's a special fish that is in the River Niger, on River Niger, that has a special taste and special flavor. So if you say that somewhere, somebody will say, well, it's a landlocked country. That's why I use the word ignorance. So the number one thing is that we need to not be scared of our own countries and continent, and we need to move around within Africa. Number two, you talk about minerals. We are blessed. I mean, I will be remiss if I just have to keep going into these things. We have the youth. We have the brain. We have the power. Guess what? I went to a bar in Russia. I went to a bar in China. They are playing nothing but Afrobeat.
Yeah, I experienced that as well.
Okay, I mean, this is where they don't even speak your language. The people are dancing, and the people are singing the song. They don't even understand what they are saying.
Well, that's the power of music.
That's the power of everything we have.
Okay.
So take that into even our people. Look in all the top companies in the world. Our children are up there in good positions running. I mean, they are playing. I don't need to keep going into individuals. And they're not only from one country specific. They're from all our countries in Africa that are running businesses globally.
So it's obvious, therefore, that we are the ones not singing our praises enough.
So we are the one that's not using the power that God has given us. Okay. On top of that,
yes,
we have the best arable lands. We are the only land left in the world that the world wants. And we have minerals. We have practically every element on the chart.
But the way you're saying it, it looks like the responsibility should fall squarely on the leadership of African countries.
Definitely.
So what is holding them back?
Wow, Uncle Soni, I think you have not even given me lunch. You are trying to make me answer all these tough questions. What is holding them back? I can't answer that, but we do encourage. We encourage the African leaders to participate in what we are doing.
Yes.
The audio is not clear?
Yes, there's a complaint, general complaint, that the audio is not powerful, and I'm calling the engineers to please come and do something about it.
And they still say if they're not hearing or they're hearing?
No, well, it's crackling. Somebody, Boyga Adilaja, was on earlier. Okay. And he actually complained that the audio was not sharp enough. So while we're still trying to do all that,
okay, but we're live. We're live,
and that's where we got the responses from the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are asking the African leaders.
Right.
We shouldn't be begging for you to support FESTAC. You should want to support FESTAC because it's a platform that brings all of us together, using art and culture to bring all other things in our lives together. So we're asking corporations to step up to help. We're asking government. We're asking our kings, our kingdom, our queens to support what we are doing, but especially the corporations to jump in and support what we are doing.
Right. Okay. So we're on to Soni Irabor live, and we're trying to see how we can improve on the quality of sound as we are hearing. Usually, I'm not too afraid or ashamed to mention the fact that it is within our purview to make sure you that is listening and wanting to take part are enjoying what you're hearing, because it's very, very important. There's a call. Hello. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Mr. Emmanuel, I'm speaking to you from Medway.
Okay, go ahead, please.
How is your guest dealing with some people I will call religious extremists who will say the problem of Nigeria began, from FESTAC 77, that it was all about deity, idol worshipping, and so on. How have you people been dealing with that orientation? Because I know you must have gotten across some of these kind of people. Thank you.
Great question. I'm going to repeat the question for our people on Google. The question is, how do you deal with the stuff going around that 1977, the deities that came into Nigeria is what caused the economy of Nigeria to collapse? I would say this because I come from a very religious family. Even my own mother came on my neck and say, "Hey, what do you know about this?" And what she even said the same thing also. And I said, "Mama, that is not true. That is not the case." Yes, what happened in 1977 was, if you follow the economy of Africa, if you follow the economy of Nigeria, currency devaluation and all those other things were happening at the time. And yes, maybe our currency started devaluing. We were losing. We were having changing of government. All those things pile up. We had the SAP, Social Adjustment Program, that we were put on us. All those things. So don't blame the deities. Blame the decisions made. Blame the external influence on our pockets, and blame all those things that happened. Now, I read somewhere in the last few weeks that says that even the idea of putting a needle on a door is actually starts from the United Kingdom.
Oh, not even
to Africa. And today we are the one claiming and say that, well, they put a needle on it and the person is getting sick. And the idea was that when you go to see a doctor, they will say, "What was your problem?" You say, "I have a headache." The doctor will take a pin and put it on your door, on the head, so that when you come back, doctor can say, "The last time you came, it was your head that had a problem." Has that problem been relieved? Okay, if it was your leg, they put the pin on your leg. So they remove it, you come again, they put it there. And it was something used to track. And it started in the UK, according to these research that I followed.
Consultation was there.
It was a consultation tool. So today we now say, it's Africa, they put a pin on the thing, you start getting a headache. So I think to answer the question, a lot of it is ignorance. We just need to keep doing what we need to do. We need to come together. We need to get our economies together, and our lives will improve. Thank you.
Okay. Well, for those who can hear in Google, let me give you a chance to speak. Can I call any one of you, or would you prefer that you can start to speak by identifying yourself, giving your name?
I see people from the US, UK, Kenya. Yes. Lovely. Thanks for all of you for taking the time to come on board.
We've been using Google for a long time, so I don't know why we should have this audio problem. Shouldn't be the case. But Ambassador Zik, is it Zia?
Ambassador Zia from Kenya.
Okay. Ambassador, can you hear me, Your Excellency? Unmute your microphone and speak.
Ambassador Zia is a big believer in FESTAC, so if he can unmute, it would be nice to hear from him.
If he probably is still there. He is there. He might lift his telephone on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. While we are sorting that out, and I really apologize that this is happening, we've used the Google Meet quite a lot, and we get very clear participation. So I don't know what is happening. But in the meantime, what can we do? How can we get African leaders to be committed? Because it looks like there's more of an individualistic.
So what we've done, we've approached African Union. Mm. We're in communication with African Union, and we are talking to them. Sometimes when you get into asking government to participate, the first thing is always, "I don't have budget." Okay, they always blamed on lack of funds. So the first thing I would say we need to do is we're asking the African government to please just send a handful of your people. Send them to the festival. That's the first thing we want them to do. Send your people to come and showcase their culture, their food, their fashion, their minerals, their business, their agriculture, their people, and overall, when that is done, Africa will get the benefit as a whole. So that's the participation. Then beyond that, we need to ask them to volunteer, even if it has to be regional. We can do a sub-programs for SADC, for North Africa, for East Africa, for ECOWAS, for a regional program that put people together. So those are the ways we need to get the continent to be involved in what's going on.
Okay. My experience of FESTAC, yes. I was in my very, very early 20s. You know, it was interesting. I had my afro hair, the one you call fro, now that you don't have any hair.
You gotta drop the A out of it, fro, to be cool.
I had my fro hair, and then bell bottom, and platform shoes.
Did your shoe have the gold in front of it? Because if it didn't, that means you had cheap shoes.
Now you know.
It has to be pointed with the gold plate.
You know, so okay. I'm told that the sound is a lot better now, so maybe we can hear from those of you or you in the Google. Please feel free to call us, and we'll be very, very happy to hear your voice and hear your views. Okay? But in the meantime, I will always have questions. Always, always. You haven't answered why you took the bull by the horn, knowing the problems that existed after FESTAC 77.
You know, okay, human mortality, right?
Mortality, not mentality.
Okay. Human mortality.
Okay.
Eventually, we're all gonna go.
Okay.
Right. So you can't live in fear of your shadow or yourself, right? So you gotta, when something is important to you, you have to step up on it. You have to step up on it and try to activate it. No matter how scary a step is, start with the baby steps. When you start something, you may not be the one to take it to the promised land.
1,000 miles begins with one
steps
like that.
So for me, it is critical integration, and that's why we
just heard that they said the sound is a lot better. My goodness, I'm sorry it took us this long to correct it, but the engineer just also did his best.
Very good, very good.
So, okay, now that it's much better, we've been discussing. Let me quickly paraphrase a bit, and I'm sure engineer Yinka will, help me out. You know, we're looking at FESTAC, which took us back to 1966. Through Senegal, then to 77, through Nigeria, and then there was a stalemate. Nothing happened for at least 45 to 47 years before Yinka took the bull by the horn, which I've asked him to now expatiate more about. He took the bull by the horn, decided to have FESTAC Africa. Then it was the Black and African world. It still is the Black and African world, but it's now tagged FESTAC Africa, and he has given us a storyline on how best we could handle it. Well, we also came to the conclusion that African leaders owe the Africans themselves a responsibility to harness the culture of Africanness. Am I right?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Is anybody there now who can quickly say something? Feel free. Jude, or the man with the powerhouse, PAWA, whatever that means.
Pan-African Writers Association.
Oh, forgive me. They're very important to us.
Yes, they are. Yes, they do. And they are a big partner and big proponent in a better continent. Okay. And they are doing a wonderful job.
So if the summary makes any sense to you, please can you help us out? Talk to us. Let's hear your voice and your views.
We have Power, we have Mr. Jude, we have Dr. Abolo. Dr. Abolo has also been a partner, and he's been with us in a couple of these projects. He's based in Abuja, and he's an environmentalist. So we have people online that may have good questions or even comments or adding to what is being said or what is being discussed. Please feel free to say something.
Well, they're playing the listening game, that's fair enough, so no problem at all. What is your, what's your injection? What triggered that boldness in you? You left corporate world, you left boardroom politics into serious Africa politics, FESTAC Africa.
For me, yes, I proudly say that I was I did a little bit in pharmacology. I made my mark. That what I left in pharmacology in the late 80s is still being used in the US, and I'm proud of it without a shame. That's probably where I'll say I made the biggest mark. And I did a little bit in oil and gas and other stuff. I was around the continent. Was training a lot of people in soft skills. So I would say I have a lot of proteges on the continent. But there's nothing like an opportunity to do mental, I'm going to use the word again on you, Uncle Soni, mental emancipation. I think what FESTAC does is uplift us as people.
Yes.
And that is what I think, yes, even if I'm able to add myself as a mathematician or as an engineer, I cannot impact a lot of people like a platform to move a lot of people up at once.
Yeah, but you said something earlier. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
One step.
Yeah. So if that is the way it is, many of us have said that before, there's a momentum. It triggers something. And you saw the challenge and you took it. That challenge is what I want to know. What was so...
It's... personally...
Yes.
As I look around, I mean, okay, you think about it. 30, 40 years intra-Africa trade has really been struggling to happen.
Yeah, you even mentioned that we are the lowest, 15%.
Of course we are. Of course we
goodness.
Are. Yeah, but that's why we have a lot of other issues. So for me, I cannot even, there's so many antidotes I can give you on things that trigger and keep triggering. I'll give you a quick one. I'm not going to name the country. I went to one of our countries in West Africa, mining town. I got into the place, got out of the aircraft. I was sneezing. I took a white handkerchief, cleaned my nose. In about 20 minutes, my nose was yellow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the international organization that is there, making money there for the last 20, 30, 40 years, with their own employees going out to detox every 2-3 months. My own people stayed in there. They will have probably mortality at 40, then they will blame it on the voodoo or their relative that's killing them. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm saying that mental emancipation is important. And this platform becomes a power, a tool. That means the basic thing we need every African to be committed into participation, support. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for people that will come along with us. We don't even mind if you dictate your passion or your CSR into what you want to see the investment to be in. We're looking for those opportunities to use that to elevate the continent.
Okay. Well, we just have about less than 5 minutes to go for the whole program. Ambassador Zia Boja sent a message that he was wondering whether it was his network. Well, it seems like to him...
Still having an issue.
Yeah. Power said the sound is better.
But they say it's not anymore. It's the same issue here.
Yeah. Power is not...
Power is saying they have a problem too.
Same issue here. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I will have to just honestly apologize to all of you because we've never had it this difficult. And this is why we always say that Soni Irabor Live gives you an opportunity to air your views, express your feelings, and as it turned out, we have always, boasted of the importance of using the Google Meet.
If you can also, we could write on there that for them to text or to text their questions also. Maybe if it's a short question, we can try to answer it, or we could actually send it to them later, if possible.
Unfortunately, there's no more time.
Okay.
But they can send it for later.
Yes.
On WhatsApp is 0817, that's plus 234 817 313 6193. So feel free to send a message or your question or your observation to that number. We'll collate it and send it to FESTAC Africa. That's a promise. And then, of course, please, can you give your email again?
Yinka, YINKA, at festacafrica.org.
Okay.
FESTAC Africa is one word. .org. So we can do Yinka, YINKA, or do chairman. That way will come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So please feel free to do that. And I must openly and unabashedly apologize for the poor connection on Google Meet. I have to do that. Because if I don't do that, how will I prove to you that I didn't mean what happened? Okay. And thank you all very much. Thank you, Engineer Yinka.
Thank you.
I don't know why it turned out the way it turned out, but yes, and for those of you who sent messages and made phone calls, God bless you all. Thank you. It's a great one. And this is Soni Irabor live signing off, and Engineer Yinka Abioye, Chairman FESTAC Africa. When is the next?
This year in fourth quarter in Senegal.
Senegal.
Yes.
Okay. And next year will be what?
We are ready. We are ramping up the power for Nigeria in 2027.
Okay.
So you will hear more about that on the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
Coming up soon.
Thank you so much. God bless
Thank you.
you. All right now.